ATG and AT podcast. He's Blake. I'm Ronnie, and we're back. And Blake, I know. First off, how are things?
Things are pretty good. I was thinking today. I really miss doing the podcast. I like doing this YouTube stuff, but I really do miss doing our podcast where we just randomly talk about stuff that I miss doing.
You got stuff you want to talk about?
No, not really. Nothing's going on.
Around the clock, we're gonna rock the rhythm of the street and down the block. Around the clock, we're gonna rock the dreams you give, the streets to talk. Wanna be somebody, be a contender. Gotta reach for the sky. If you want it, fight for it. Or kiss it goodbye. It's make it or break it. Try to survive. Don't ever say never. Keep your dream.
ATG and AT podcast. He's Blake. I'm Ronnie. We're back.
Is this another intro?
This is the
You edited out the
official.
first one?
I'm editing out the first one because I don't even know where I was going with that. I mean, this whole video is about summer school, 1987. Been wanting to review it for 6 years. It took me
I don't
6
know.
years
I
to
still
talk to you
don't
and
know
reviewing this.
Still don't know why. This has got to be some kind of nostalgia thing for you because I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. And like I know you love this movie and you grew up with it, but man, I don't know. Like maybe I'm way off here. Maybe I don't know. But I know we'll get into it when we start breaking it down. But this just did not do it for me.
Let's start breaking it down right now. What don't you like about this movie?
Other than Mark Harmon, do you like any characters in this movie? Do you care about any of the students? Do you
care about
if they
Larry?
fail? Do you care if they fail or succeed? Which, by the way, they all fail the test. Like, what is that? You would think that they pass and shoot proves what a great teacher he is, but no, they all fail, so they don't graduate.
Well, they're not set up. They're not supposed to be graduating anyway. And here's the deal, because I think you fell into the same trap that I fell into as a kid watching this movie. I'm like, man, they all just failed. But you also got to remember it's high school. The whole movie takes place at Oceanside High School, which looks like after the beginning.
Oceanfront.
Is it Oceanfront or Oceanside? Ocean Springs?
I think it's Oceanfront.
Either way, before I lose it.
Beachfront.
These guys didn't fail their grade. At the very beginning of it, he talks about this is an English skills test, like an achievement test that they take to bolster the school's ratings or whatever. And these guys just failed that particular test. They're not failing a grade. That's the reason they were all so upset that they had to go to summer school based off some random test they had taken 2 weeks earlier or 3 weeks earlier.
Okay. Well, still though, who would agree to do that? Like, you don't have to.
It was the 80s. You didn't have a choice. So it made me actually feel, as a 55-year-old, it made me feel a lot better that Chainsaw and Dave were not actually in a different grade the next year and they could still be in the same grade and hang out. Because I was like, that's the end of that friendship. One's moving on. They got a girl, and the other one's going to be a loser living with Sheriff Meeker at the house. You're really not going to say anything this whole review.
I don't know what to tell you. I'll chime in when you start breaking it down on the problems I had. But I didn't enjoy this movie. I don't like none of the students. I don't like any of them. I tell you what, I do like Dwayne. I like the guy who goes to the bathroom in the beginning. I like him. I don't like Kirstie Alley. The only funny thing was, anytime someone came into the room when I was watching this and the principal was on TV, my son, my wife, my daughter, everybody was like, is that Steve Carell? Is that Steve Carell? So, I thought that was amusing. And he does like Steve Carell. I know you said it off camera that you didn't see it, but he does like Steve Carell. He favors him big time.
And he's got the 40-year-old virgin hair. That's the reason he looks like Steve Carell. Now, this guy that plays Gills, the vice president, movie starts off, school's ending.
Vice principal.
What'd I say?
Vice president.
Movie starts off. Everybody's getting ready for the last day of school. They're running over teachers. They're counting down clocks. Carl Reiner, who directed the movie, is doing scratch offs. He wins $50,000. He tells the vice principal, "I'm out of here. Get somebody else." And here's what I thought was very unreal. One of the things that was unrealistic about this movie: he's chasing down teachers in the parking lot, which is very realistic, and forces Mark Harmon to teach summer school. Think about this. Mark Harmon already had bought tickets, him and his girlfriend, to go to Hawaii. Yeah. So does he just eat the cost of that ticket because he's got to do summer school?
Well, I mean, he didn't lose that money. She took both tickets, right, and left. Yeah, like he threatens him with tenure. Like he says, you're up for tenure, and with my recommendation, you can get it. But I mean, he agrees to stay, and he does it. And then toward the end, he's like, "You didn't do what you're supposed to do, so I'm going to fire you." Like this whole thing is just ridiculous to me.
It's a movie named Summer School. It's going to be ridiculous. I don't even know what tenure is when it comes to the education.
You have a job forever.
So I mean, unless he does something stupid, he gets renewed every year.
Yeah, there is no like you're there forever until you molest. Which he almost did.
This is the definition. And here's another thing. If Gills, who's the heel in the movie, if he's so worried about these kids having to redo this test, he doesn't care if they pass or they fail. He puts the PE teacher in charge of it and says you just have to babysit them. So what is the purpose of them going through this class if they're not actually going to try to teach these kids to pass this test at the end of summer?
That's like I don't feel like there's no. He walks in and he's like, "These kids are losers. These are future criminals. You know, I don't expect this. All you got to do is show up every day." Well, then, I mean, why are we going through this trouble? Why are we going through this trouble to do this?
Later in the movie, they bring like a substitute teacher in there to watch it. Instead of chasing teachers down in the parking lot at the beginning of the movie, why not just call a substitute teacher to watch the summer school class all year?
Why not get Kirstie Alley to do it? I mean, she's the superior.
Nobody wants to deal with kids who can't read.
Kirstie Alley or Kirstie Alley?
Kirstie or Kirstie? Kirstie?
What's the appeal with her? Hair?
I don't know.
Good hair?
She's on Cheers. Mark Harmon has the job literally for Mark like 4 days.
Star at this point?
You would think so.
He's like good looking dude. So. I know he went on to be in every episode of CSI or whatever.
I think that's where.
But at this point in the 85-ish, was he a big star?
I think that's the NCIS stuff is where he made his money. But let me scroll through IMDb real quick.
Yeah, he played like Ted Bundy or something in the early 90s. I saw that.
He was Ted Bundy in one of those either NBC, ABC, or CBS Sunday night movies. It was like a big deal for him to play that guy.
But going back I don't like any characters. Like, I do like Mark Harmon's character. I do like the lazy PE teacher who only took this job so he could have his summers off. And, you know, you can see in the gym, they're having fun on the last day of school. And you can see the first few weeks of the summer school, they're having fun. He don't care. And that dude makes me want to go eat out of the jar of peanut butter right now, because every other scene he's eating peanut butter and jelly or something like that. But
sadly, as a fat kid, that was the scene I remembered the most, was him eating the peanut butter and jelly with.
But anyway, like I like that character, and I like that he is smart enough to know I'm not a good teacher. I'm just here for the easy paycheck. That's it. And he tries to be friends with these kids, and I don't know. Mark Harmon's by far the best part of this movie. The only good part of this movie, in my opinion. I know you disagree.
No, Freddie Shoop is a great character. He makes this movie. This is his vehicle, and it's usually the kids that steal the movie.
Yeah.
In movies like this, but
you're right. Usually there's one of the kids you relate to that character or you root for that character, and I really don't get that in this one like I did in Meatballs Part 1.
I mean, he's a slacker. He is a beach bum. He's a beach bum. Multiple times in the movie, you're like, this dude's just making it through life. He's got a house on the beach, which is awesome. He is, at one point, you see him roller skating down the boardwalk with no shirt on. He is drinking. He has kids at the house partying and drinking. He's at the male strip club trying to pick up women. He's getting arrested for contributing to delinquency of a minor because he takes up for him so they won't get arrested.
Ronnie,
this is a great movie.
A line in the movie that he says it to Kirstie Alley. It was like, you know what you need? You need a tall guy who can skate or something along those lines. That was great.
She hit him with early on. I date a guy. I usually date people that wear socks. He goes, I got a pair, white ones.
I got one pair. Yeah. And you're right. Like, you can tell this is from the 80s because this dude breaks every rule in the book. Every rule in the book is broken, and like nobody says anything. You know, like their biggest concern is taking the kids on field trips.
Apparently, St. Elsewhere is where Mark Harmon, by the way, I don't know if you know this, quarterback at Purdue. That's not on IMDb, but he was like the starting quarterback at Purdue.
I know he was the starting quarterback, but I thought it was at UCLA.
Are you sure?
Well, I mean, I'm asking. I didn't think it was.
That actually sounds more correct. I thought it was Purdue. Let's see. Mark Harmon.
Yeah.
UC. Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm stupid. There you go.
I mean, you're not stupid. Purdue and UCLA is very similar.
I know. Love Boat. He did 3 episodes. He was the original Prince of Bel-Air, the TV movie in 1986.
Yeah, I saw that on his IMDb. Hey, what is Love Boat?
Love Boat is like, I think it's like a cruise boat, and every week they got a different story going on the boat.
Oh, okay. So, and how many say
that's come aboard? We're waiting for you.
Love Boat. Yeah, that sounds like something I want to check out. Like
every week there's a different group of people.
Yeah.
St. Elsewhere, he was in that. I guess that's where he got his big break. 82 to 88, 64 episodes. And that's like you said, The Deliberate Stranger in 1986, Ted Bundy. Macho Theater, if you guys want to head over there, Let's Get Harry in 1986.
Yep. Great.
Then Summer School was his first big starring role. And after that, he did a movie called The Presidio in 88. I'm still looking. I'm into 91. I'm still looking. I'm still looking for something that I've seen.
He did Emmanuel in Space.
1994, he did the Wyatt Earp that had Kevin Costner in it.
That's a good movie.
He was uncredited in Natural Born Killers in 94.
He was in Woodchipper Massacre.
He was in let's see. Good Lord, we're up to 97. This dude's gorgeous. He should have been. He was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but as a magazine reporter.
From here's until 2022 is CSI.
So he burst back on the scene in 96 whenever CBS did their ER TV show. They did a show called Chicago Hope, and I guess he was for 95 episodes, he was the dude there. And I'm still scrolling. I remember this. He did 4 episodes of The West Wing as a Secret Service agent that gets blasted. I remember that. He was in Freaky Friday. I'm still going. I haven't either. I'm still going. And then you get to NCIS. So he's made billions of dollars off of network. And I don't think, this dude can act. This dude is super good looking. He could probably play serious and silly roles. Why didn't he get more roles? What's the deal? Were people like intimidated by Mark Harmon?
I mean, it seems like he has a place in the DC or Marvel universe too. He's not there.
Yeah. He can play Hulk.
Nah, I was thinking Alfred.
Character. So I'm gonna break it down. You're gonna make this review interesting because you said that you can't relate to any of these characters.
Well, the only way I can relate to them is that they're not doing well in school. That's it.
Right off the bat, you got Chainsaw and Dave.
Yeah.
By far the 2 most promoted characters in the movie.
Losers.
Horror fans. You just said losers. Geeks.
Yeah, the blonde
And
is one of the guys, one of Kiefer Sutherland's friends on Stand By Me.
he is also in
Planes, Trains, Automobiles. He steals the wallet.
And he's also in Back to the Future at the dance at the end of it. He goes, "Hey, you ever think about running for student body president?" to George McFly.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Well, I only know that because I was watching Back to the Future today and they come dancing through there. I was like, "Hey, it's Dave." Now, here's the thing. Chainsaw, whose name I don't know, I remember him from this movie. And I remember him from another movie that I'm going to make you review eventually called Men at Work with Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez. He plays the pizza boy that they kidnap at some point in that movie. I always thought that Chainsaw was going to end up being a star. I don't know why I thought that I guess I really liked the character back when I was a kid. But going and looking at it now, the dude's a geek. He looks like he's 35 years old in this movie.
He does look very old, but him and Dave were like the original, like what we're trying to be now. They were like the original movie reviewers. Like, do you hear that little gimmick they had going on in class? Like, you could see us at the movies. They're doing
Siskel and Ebert
instead of Toby. It was Tobey or whatever, however he said it. Tobey Hooper.
They're doing Siskel and Ebert at the movies.
Oh,
that's probably the reason Ebert. That's probably the reason Ebert gave it half a star, because he didn't like them mimicking him. They're also the worst type of horror fans that there are. They're constantly just reviewing stuff. They're obnoxious. When they actually get them to screen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the classroom, by the way,
they're begging for super chats.
They're talking all the way through it while people are trying to watch it. The only cool thing they do throughout the entire movie is the scene at the petting zoo where they come running out of the barn and they've done the makeup effects on their face like the rabbits are eating their face. That might be the coolest scene in the whole movie, too, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Where are they getting that kind of stuff at?
Well, they're into horror. If you paid attention to their locker at the beginning of the movie, they got all kind of like horror crap in there.
The transfer chick that they're after, she was in Austin Powers. What was her name? Whole lot of. I didn't like her.
Chainsaw's an alcoholic. I just remember him being more likable.
That was another weird side plot of Chainsaw having a drinking problem.
Him and Dave have a drinking problem, and Freddie Shute didn't care at all to try to help him.
Yeah.
Mark Harmon gets bored after about 3 days or 2 days. Actually, it might have been the first day. 2 days in, Mark Harmon's like, "You're absolutely right."
Day one, they walked.
Day one, they didn't get the roll called. There's a huge football player that was the guy that spit in the other guy's mouth in the program.
That computer was wrong. I passed.
I think very well
good in here.
He goes to the bathroom at the very beginning of the movie, and then he shows back up at the end. He's like, "Where you been?" Bathroom. 6 weeks? Zipper got stuck. And he makes like a 92 on the test. So he was absolutely right. The computer screwed up his scores. Mark Harmon takes him on field trips and immediately gets in trouble. And Gills, the vice principal, tells him he's fired whenever the main principal took the whole summer off.
Why not just make him the main principal? I guess he needed someone to answer to.
Well, you got to have somebody at the end to tell Mark Harmon he's got tenure and to tell that geek to sit down.
Yeah, you're right.
Otherwise, he'd been fired right off the bat. So Mark Harmon makes an agreement with him. He goes, "If you don't fire me, if I actually turn into a teacher," and the vice principal tells him, "If you can get every one of these kids to pass that test, you'll get your tenure. If not, you're out of here." I don't even think he's got the ability to fire anybody. So there you go. So he tries to be a real teacher, and in the meantime, these kids are like, "No," and he has to.
We want to keep having fun.
Bribes. They have to do bribes. He has to take I think here's another one. Let's talk about Alan Ekian. How is he?
He's the nerd, right?
Yeah, he's the geek. He's the one that barters this deal with Shoop about grant us all a wish. And then when it comes time for his wish, he just wants to be invited to a party that Chainsaw and Dave, their wish is for Shoop to drive them around from work because they work at the photo hut. Talk about being outdated, a photo hut.
There's this weird thing, and I know why they do it. Like, every kid has a bio in their file, and of course it's there just to give us an idea about each kid. The nerd, they're like, you got 4 brothers, 4 sisters, all straight A students. What happened to you? Like, why is that in there? Like, why is it?
Why would any of the other kids' stuff be in there?
Right. And then they get to Sunny from Nerds 2, and they're like, you lack concentration, and she's staring out a window, not paying attention.
Like Myers.
Yeah, and they get to this other chick, and they're like, she's like, what's that say about me? Whatever it says, they lying. And I thought
that's
it was going to be
Denise.
good.
You can't read. Denise is the most annoying character in this movie to me. And you find out later, I mean, she's always like, she does the long Lisa Turtle rant. And you find out later it's because she's stupid. She's dyslexic and is reading everything backwards. Ekian looks at her paper and he can't believe somebody is that stupid. So he shows it to Shoop, who shows it to Kirstie Alley, who shows it to Sam Malone. And they have to beg her to go to an actual reading tutor. But in Pam's wish, she's the surfer. Pam's wish was to live with Mr. Shoop. And her brother that she's living with at the time, I don't know where Pam's parents are, but she's living with her brother. She's living with her brother, and he's got no problems dropping her off with an adult male.
Well, yeah. One less mouth to feed. He had a ton of kids with him.
And he's still happy about it at the end. She lives with him for like 2 weeks before he finally comes to his senses after Kirstie Alley catches him and kicks her out. He knew why she was there. Kevin and Rhonda. Kevin got kicked off the football team. Rhonda got pregnant. So they have like a romance thing going on. The only thing I remember about Rhonda and Kevin is when they go to the petting zoo, he's sitting there watching that cow suck on a pervert. Edit. I mean, why would you even make that a scene? They're just sitting there looking lovingly at a cow. So get out of here.
That's exactly what that meant, Ronnie.
She's sitting there looking like, ooh, and he's watching cows suck on. Get the hell out of here. This whole review was so I can give that line that I'm going to have to edit out. And he falls in love with this pregnant girl. And then everybody's favorite, Larry. Larry's sleeping. His gimmick is he sleeps the entire time.
You never see him awake.
He's never awake. And Shoop is at a male dance club after Kirstie Alley turns him down. He goes to a male dance club to pick up women. And he sees Larry dancing on stage. And he says, hey, what about your schoolwork? And he goes, I don't care less about school.
Larry had a great point, though. He told Shoop, he said, Mr. Shoop, if you knew then what you know now. And he goes, I mean, do you understand what I'm doing? I know now. That's why I'm doing it. He's like, all right, you're good. He's okay with it.
I hate that kid. He said, I hate that kid. Later on in the movie, he just quits. Shoop quits because they want more wishes whenever he tells them they're going to have to do extra work. They bring in this sub, and the Chainsaw and Dave have concocted this whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre scene going on where it's actually a pretty cool part of the movie. You got the girl with the ruler in her mouth. Courtney Thorne-Smith had her neck slit. Denise runs out like the end girl on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Larry is the best one. He's like got his guts ripped open and he's packing them back in with a pencil through his eyeball. So Gills is tired of dealing with it and says if y'all can get Shoop to come back, he's welcome to come back to fish this summer. So they go get him off the beach.
And there's this whole other side plot with Mark Harmon trying to win Kirstie Alley over and trying to expose Principal Gills for what he really is. And Gil keeps letting a little bit slip in front of her, a little bit slip. And then finally, you know, she realizes just how two-faced he is and that she don't care about the kids. And, you know, he don't care about, he don't like Mark Harmon and he's just not a nice guy. And that's when she says some lame line like, Once you order
One
two,
for both your
one for each
faces.
face.
Anyway, they take the test, and like you said, they all fail. He gets fired.
They all failed.
Oh, out of the testing scene, the best part is when Chainsaw screams and has the tension breaker.
Tension breaker had to be done.
End of the movie. All the parents come in.
The dog losing that doll too.
Yeah, he gets pissed off and throws the doll into the
ocean.
It's gone. At the end of it, the parents all come in and are happy that their kids failed. Sheriff Meeker says that Chainsaw and Dave have been studying. I think Chainsaw made a 58. Dave passed with a 70. The best part is most of them made in the 30s. I think Alan Ekian passed it with like a 75 or something like that. They get to Denise, who never even opened a book. First time you ditched all your tests. Monster comeback, 38. And the mother goes, "Oh, honey, I'm so proud. A 38 is failing. I'm so proud."
2 questions right.
Your name first.
Name and date.
Most impressive thing in this movie is when Mark Harmon finds out the girl's in labor and he runs across the top of those desks to her in that scene. Go watch that. It's pretty neat.
He's an athlete.
Fat security guard we didn't talk about. His only thing in the movie, go shh whenever they're talking about that. He gets his tenure because the other principal come in and said, "Hey, that's real teaching." Boom. Everybody's happy. Cut to the end. Kirstie Alley says she'll go out with him, but only after they edit. So that's summer school. All right. This movie got a 56 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's from the critics. A 58% on the audience score. But I'm not a big fan of Rotten Tomatoes. I go by IMDb. Bring back the message boards. 6.6 on IMDb, which is close to where I'm going to put it. I'm giving this movie a 7 out of 10. Freddie Shoop is a great character. I'm like you. The movie's centered around him. He's really the only redeeming character about it. I would watch him just hang out on the beach the entire movie.
4.5 out of 10 for me. It's got its moments, but if I'm flipping through the channels and this is on, I don't see myself stopping on Summer School. I know it's one of your favorites. And I don't know. Maybe it's just too much hype behind it because
probably so.
You usually have a pretty good track record with stuff that you like, I like, and vice versa. But Summer School is just not for me. Like Mark Harmon, like Sonny from Nerds 2. That's about it.
Revisiting this movie years after originally watching it, there's not a lot there as far as extra stuff. This is just, hey, we're straight into this school. Yeah. We're straight into the class. We're straight into the main thing, 90 minutes and out. There's really like nothing outside of the main plot to get your attention. I still like the movie, and it's going to be the nostalgia thing with things like this. You grew up watching this movie. It's got to be great, right? So I still love it. So everybody go out and check out Summer School. Pretty sure it's on Amazon Prime. Now, real quick, here at the end.
I think you can watch it for free if you download the Showtime app. You'll get it free for 7 days. That's what I did.
Yes. I've got to cancel the Showtime app before I have to pay for it.
Make sure to like and comment down below. Do you want us to review Nerds 2 next or Back to the Future?
I have the wheel set up. It's all summer movies.
Oh, okay.
All summer movies. We're not listening to people yet. So the wheel right now, I'll let you choose, Blake. The wheel has American Pie 2. It has National Lampoon's Vacation. It has Caddyshack. Out of those three, what do you want to see? Straight summer movies to the end of summer.
There's not a wrong answer out of those three, Ronnie. I mean, I love Caddyshack, obviously. Vacations are some of my favorite movies. That's tough. Just spin the wheel.
I'll spin the wheel and we'll decide it. And hopefully,
I'll agree with the wheel.
All right. Hopefully, we get it out sooner than 14 days. Also, real quick, because it happens during the summer.
Oh, okay.
It's movies that are based
movies that house or whatever in the summer.
Yeah. Dude, don't try to catch me slipping. Thanks everybody for 200 follows. That's not, I mean, pretty stinking cool to have 200. I said follows, 200 subscribers within the first 7 weeks of having this channel going. So thanks. I think the majority of that though came from our horror stuff. So hopefully us branching out and doing what we normally do doesn't run a lot of people off. But if it does, see ya. Like Blake said, comment and like, share, all that stuff below. Tell us what you like. And that really should wrap it up. Anything else,
Tell
Blake?
us what you think about Summer School down below. Is this a good movie? Is Ronnie right? Is this a good movie, or is Blake right? And it's not that good. It doesn't hold up.
All right. See you, Blake.
Bye, buddy. Have fun.